On Thursday, the Rosebud Sioux tribe of South Dakota banned the governor, Kristi Noem, from stepping foot on its reservation. The Rosebud Sioux is now the fourth tribe in South Dakota to ban the governor from their lands. The Cheyenne River Sioux, the Ogallala Sioux, the Standing Rock Sioux, and the Rosebud Sioux reservations cover more than 8 million acres, according to state and federal government records, which means that Kristi Noem is currently banned from roughly 17% of her own stake. Why? Well, for the past few months, Governor Kristi Noem, who is currently vying to be Trump's pick for VP, she can't seem to stop talking about the violent drug trafficking cartels in the, quote, war zone at the Texas border with Mexico. And in talking about that border such situation and the cartels and the drugs and the murders, she keeps suggesting that the Native American tribes in her state are complicit, even benefiting from the cartel activity. So last month, during a press conference, Noem said, quote, "We got some tribal leaders that I believe are personally benefiting from the cartels being there, and that's why they attack me every day." Since January, Noem has repeatedly claimed that the cartels are infiltrating the tribes and using the reservations to spread fentanyl throughout the state. One Ogallala tribal leader said, quote, "How dare the governor allege that Sioux tribal councils do not care about their communities or their children, and worse, that they are involved in nefarious activities." In a written statement, the Ogallala tribal leaders explained their decision to ban the governor from their land was not made lightly nor suddenly. It's also not the first time that she's been at odds with the tribes, nor is it the first time that she's been banned from tribal land. In 2019, there was a major protest against the construction of the Keystone XL pipeline on the Pine Ridge Reservation. Kristi Noem supported anti-protest legislation, which basically outlawed the demonstrators and made it punishable by 5 to 25 years in prison. In response, the Ogallala Sioux of the Pine Ridge Reservation unanimously voted to banish her from their land temporarily. And when tribes set up checkpoints during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic to regulate access to their land in order to protect their medically vulnerable elders, Noem called on the federal government to shut the checkpoints down. I visited the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota a few months after they initially set up those checkpoints, and I spoke with State Senator Red Dawn Foster about the importance of the checkpoints.
What's the point of the checkpoints and what's the controversy?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on here. The point of the checkpoints were to limit on just traffic coming into the reservation that normally wasn't living here. This is a matter of life and death on a reservation, and so we needed to limit the spread and people coming off the reservation and coming into our communities and potentially wiping our whole community out. We have the right to have these checkpoints. It's in our best interest. It's about maintaining our health and wellness and protecting our people.
Now, soon after the checkpoints were set up, Governor Noem facilitated the South Dakota Department of Education in removing the bulk of Native history and culture from the state's K-12 curriculum. When tribal leaders called for the state's help to cope with a heavy snowstorm, Governor Noem's administration took more than a week to respond, sending the National Guard only after the snow had receded. 6 tribe members died in that wait. Tribal leaders point out how troubling this is, especially considering that Noem has repeatedly and quite publicly deployed the South Dakota National Guard to the U.S.-Mexico border. And now she's blamed tribal leaders for drug-related deaths on reservations, suggesting that they are facilitating, encouraging, and even benefiting from cartel activity. The Rosebud Sioux tribe says, quote, "Governor Noem claims she wants to establish meaningful relationships with tribes to provide solutions for systemic problems. However, her actions as governor blatantly show otherwise. The recent racially disparaging allegations made against Native students, parents, tribal councils, and tribal leaders have led to further division and distrust of tribal-state relations. Her disingenuous nature toward Native Americans is further her federal political ambitions is an attack on tribal sovereignty that the Rosebud Sioux tribe will not tolerate." 5 of the 9 tribes in South Dakota have now demanded a public apology from Noem. She's not apologized yet, but she has released a statement calling on the tribes to, quote, "banish the cartels." This is someone who is being seriously considered to be the Vice President of the United States, the running mate for Donald Trump, first in line to the presidency if Donald Trump is elected. And right now, she is not allowed to step foot in almost 1/5 of her own state. Hey everyone, MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.